had a computer, okay, and we were like 5 together. The team we joined all as same day we have joined. We were asked to write the code. IS 256 2000 2000 was released. At that point it was in vogue, 2002. We were asked to write with pen and paper in a book. We are asked to write each of the clauses of the IS 456, and each of our team lead used to give us a sum, okay, which has to be solved by hand. Thank you. How are you?
I'm also fine, ma'am.
Being well and good and healthy is the need of the hour, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. In this pandemic time when everyone is searching for an external source of motivation, a girl script Jalandhar is going to reveal the scramble as well as struggle story of a woman who is actually striving all the time for excellence irrespective of her well-established position. Let's welcome Miss V. Shaumya, who is a civil engineer by profession and working as a senior procurement manager at L&T. I shall describe her journey briefly. So she did her BTech from College of Engineering Trivandrum, and after that she joined our dream company Larsen&Toubro, that is L&T, as a design engineer. And after gaining the experience of around 15 years, she is now working as a senior procurement manager. So now I shall request Ms. V. Shaumya to give us an insight about her motivating journey. Over to you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Kuldeep. You are too kind. First and foremost, I am happy that I could meet a lot of young people like you guys. It gives a lot of energy, interacting with the younger generation who are the makers of, who are going to be the makers of our new India, right? So I'll tell you briefly about my journey. Okay, each one has their own journey, right? Each one has their own destinies, how they utilize the opportunities, everything. So I am from a kind of a tier B kind of town, Trivandrum, which is the capital of, Kerala. I did my engineering there. So when I was in the final year, I had this company in mind. I have heard about Larsen&Toubro. They were doing a nuclear plant near my place. Okay. So it has been a dream that I should be there. Okay, as a civil engineer. So I was a civil engineer, right? And then when the campus interviews all started coming, so that time it was it was one of those recession times. You can imagine 2002 to 2005, we had a depression or a recession time. So a lot of IT companies also came and some of the core companies came. So I had to make a choice between the IT companies because they pay good. Okay, they are good recruiters. And core companies like Larsen&Toubro recruit select people. Okay, so that kind of things happen. And I was blessed to be launched with Larsen&Toubro. Okay. And then once I was launched here, see, it is absolutely a different world. The industry is. It is absolutely different from what you actually learn in your college. Okay. So there are vast departments here. So I was lucky enough to go to the design team, which does the calculations of how many bars per square meter has to be laid, what is the spacing of the bars, what is the thickness of concrete, and how much of quantity each of the build should be utilized. From there on, after 5 6 years of there, I moved on to procurement of buildings and factories. I was specialized in IT parks design. And then I moved on to the supply chain team of heavy civil infrastructure. So which is into building of, metros projects, hydel projects, defense projects, everything. And I'm actually thankful that I'm in such a field. I hope all of us are engineers here, right? All are engineering
Yes, ma'am.
related people, right? So engineering is one of such professions, one of a kind of its professions that the development we do in engineering, it always actually develops. It is directly proportional to the development of the humanity or the world at large. Suppose if you see medicine, okay, any other thing like medicine, if you compare, it actually progresses or evolves with a lot of diseases if people are getting, right. So it is actually inversely proportional in some ways. Engineering is not at all like that. It is directly proportional. So here is my journey, and I'm glad that I could address some of you, and I'd be actually gifted if I could clarify certain things to people. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So this was such a motivating journey, and this will act as a fuel for those who are grappling with the lack of motivation in this pandemic time.
Yeah.
So let's start with Q&A, and I shall try to incorporate all the questions, all the queries. It might be possible that some queries will not get addressed. So in the last
Okay.
of this event, all the audience will get a chance to interact with ma'am to put their queries before ma'am, and she will address it. So let's start
Definitely.
with yes, ma'am. So let's start with the first question, which is about the placements. Like during engineering, and people go for engineering because of placements. This is the reality of engineering, actually. So when it comes to engineering, so many people are actually grappling with the fact that whether I should go for placements. Like people are, there are so many students who are planning to go for higher studies for government job. So how we should make a meticulous decision that which field is better for me, which field is more suitable for me, and for which sector we have to go. Please give us a, elaboration on this topic, ma'am, because we are grappling with this issue.
See, I would always say that opportunity knocks not only once, okay? It always knocks at our doors. There is nothing called, I believe in this funda basically. There is nothing called destiny or luck or any such things. It all depends on how people utilize the opportunity, how people take it and use it on themselves. So suppose you are an engineer, Kuldeep, and you were having a dilemma whether to go for an MBA or MS outside or whatever it is, or to grab at a job, right? Right. That is the crux of the question which you asked, right? So
Yes,
according to me, what I would rather say is that, or rather, this could be my point of view, right? Okay. So you could try to stand on your own feet for some time, okay, on a bit. Industry experience, get a bit when you are still young, like in your 21s or 22s or 23s. And then up to your 25 or 26, you can always shun the industry and go back to learning. So in L&T is, you can actually abbreviate as Larsen&Toubro or learning and training also. So
yes,
they
ma'am.
have been giving us enough opportunity to learn ourselves. So there are self-paced courses which they offer from their Institute of Project Management, and some of the tie-ups with like institutes like IIMs or SPJMs or RICS bodies like that. So or even legal bodies like NLSIU. So they give opportunity enough to people to learn while you study. So studying is not something which you should after your basic degree in engineering, studying is not something you should actually, according, this is my point of view, okay, studying is not something you should do it as for a certain point of time. It should always be continuous. You should always be upgraded. You should always parallelly doing that activity, just like having food or taking a breath, things like that. Okay. And when you are actually having a passion to be in the academics, that I will go in the R&D mode or I'll be in the academics mode, then you should actually introspect yourself and understand whether you are made or cut for the industry or a corporate, or you are made cut for the academics or the R&D. That people would understand by the time they reach their final years. Okay. Depending on that, diligently you do it. But wherever you are, even if certain circumstances may happen like that, you will be forced to go for work or you would be forced to join for higher studies. Wherever you are, please utilize that 100% of opportunity and give your 100% back. And this, I believe, it will be like Newton's third law of motion. The 100% you give back, right, to wherever you are, you will always be loud to that 100% back. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So, could you please substantiate this answer with your own experience? Like, what were the circumstances before you when you were grappling with this issue that whether I
See,
should go for placements or not?
I'll tell you my journey. Okay. So I am from a middle class background. I'm from tier 2 city, wherein the belief was that once you graduate as a girl, You are supposed to get married, okay, and get settled in life. Okay. But I was like wanting to do an ME. I had even applied for gate everything, but circumstances did not happen. I had to go for a job. I have to get settled and married. But having said that, L&T, okay, L&T also gave that opportunity to parallel learning to me. Okay, so they had actually promoted courses on executive MBA programs in collaboration with IAM. But that also goes with the rigorous steps. Okay, steps of selections, like there will be aptitude tests, there will be interviews, there will be a lot of
Yes, ma'am.
things like that. And then ICE membership, they also L&T also promotes that. And besides that, I had my own have done that Great Lakes ka BACP program like that, and with collaboration with our Institute of Project Management. When you are actually, when you show that spark, that you have something in you wherein you can learn something and give back to the company, no, the company will love you to the core. They will also expect that, right? So there has been an arbitration program and claims management program, which I have done it already with RICS. And right now, one legal accreditation program with NLSIU, L&T has sponsored, which has been going on. So see, that circumstances, see, my position was exactly like that. See, I wanted to go on academics, but it did not happen, right? But being in corporate or in job, I had been, as far as I understand, I had been good to the company. The company also was good at me. So it actually let me realize that studying can be done something which is parallel, which can be a parallel activity, though not sacrificing anything on the work front. Okay, so these two, see, never ever, see, there was a generation before you, or much before even me, which thought that academics has to be done at one stretch, like a step, and the next step begins as your career. Nowadays, I don't think that exists at all. Academics and your upgradation, it is not academics, right? It is your enhancement of knowledge or your evolution of yourself. That should happen parallelly always. So even if you are in your final semester, or your sixth semester, seventh semester also, you can search for courses even as related as unrelated as, like, spoken French, something like spoken French. If you are interested, if you have that aptitude in you, go for it.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, so I think that this answer has cleared the doubts of all the audiences which are there. So the subsequent question which is there, that is, like, if we talk about civil engineering, if we say something about like civil engineering word, so after hearing that, the first thing which comes into the mind of a person, that is the construction of house, construction of bridge, construction of road. That is the simple thing which people generally think. So what are other prospects which a civil engineer have? For instance, we have environment field, we have water supply field. So what are these fields? Could you please give us an insight about that?
Right.
Yes,
I'm glad that you have asked this question. It will let me open up many, this one as a civil engineer to you. Okay. Man has always been a civil engineer. Any man, you can relate it as a civil engineer, because the basis of civil engineering, can anyone tell me, it is equilibrium, right? So we have always used this balance, be it
yes,
balance
ma'am.
of mind, be it balance of anything. We will go for that stability and balance, right? So we have, all of us, civil engineer inside us. We just have to, knock and wake that up, right? So right from construction of houses, right, mass housing. So LT has been engaged in doing affordable housing, slum redevelopments to people who have no houses. Then coming to IT parks, malls, public spaces, and now in this COVID era, we have been instrumental in developing a lot of COVID hospitals. As short as 3 months, fully furnished hospitals LSG has been delivering to the nation. And coming to infrastructure jobs, yeah, the nation, as well as the current 5 year plan, is in the mode of infrastructure development, right? So many of the metros, you name it, and the high speed rail, you would have known, right? It is like the bullet train coming from Mumbai to Vadodara, Ahmedabad, right? Hyperloop, which is actually planned with the knowledge partnership from Tesla, right? That kind of things. Then development of ports, and development of natural, natural power resources like tidal projects, then electrification projects, water supply projects, then oil and rig making this one, and even inside defense related jobs, which I cannot actually mention here, including the equipments and machineries. Okay, and in fact, civil engineering does not restrict itself even to, pilot the parts of this PSLV, or, the rockets and satellites, artificial satellites, which ISRO is sending, right? So many of the companies like L&T have been instrumental in that. So
Yes,
being a
ma'am.
civil engineer does not restrict you to, to build a house and be done with it. The field is, in fact, very vast. And these projects I'm talking is not only restricted to India, even outside underdeveloped countries like even Africa, Kenya, all these places we have the presence. So even not even L&T, I'm telling, even companies like Bechtel or Floor, who are the engineering giants or the civil engineering giants, they are also, they are marking their presence in the nation building. So civil engineering is something which is directly, as I'm telling you, directly proportional to the nation building, right? So right from the Statue of Unity, which actually now marks the, the world's largest statue, things like that, right? So the opportunities in the field of civil engineering is extremely vast. It is not restricted to building something, right? So there you can actually have add value. You new generation people like millennials, the audience here, or people like you, Kuldeep, in your age group, can contribute a lot, because your thinking, your way of analyzing things are totally different, right? So you can actually build on, think on how artificial intelligence or blockchain, things like blockchain, can add value to civil engineering and make it more effective or interesting.
Yes, ma'am. So another question is about like there is a myth, or we can say that it's a bit a truth also, that there is a lack of a job opportunity in civil engineering field. Like if we compare it with other fields, IT sector as well as electronics engineering and all, so there is a lack of job opportunities. So how you will, what is your takeaway on that? And another question which
This
is
I will
associated
slightly, okay. Yeah, you finish.
yeah, another question which is associated with it, that is like people are more students who are pursuing engineering, they are also thinking about the government sector jobs, because there are enough opportunities present in the government sector, like in PWDs, in the NHAI and other departments of the government of India. So how we should make a decision that which one is better for us, like government sector in terms of package and all, or the perks which we will get. So please address these both issues briefly.
See, so I'll go to your first question, which actually talks on the job opportunity of a civil engineer, right? You're
Yes,
particular to civil engineering itself, right? So, as far as my take on it grows, any core engineering disciplines like civil, be it mechanical, or be it electrical. These three only I mention it. I think it as core engineering disciplines. Okay.
yes,
As far as I realized, there have never been a dearth of opportunities. Only thing is that the cream of the opportunities may not be there all the point of time. And see, there will always be a industrial boom and a slump, right? So now I have seen that there is kind of a industrial boom in terms of civil engineering, because there has been a focus on nation building and infrastructure building by the governments, each of even state and central governments. And see, when I actually compare myself with with a software engineer or an electronics engineer, the basic difference a core engineer has with the software or electrical, what other fields of engineering, is that the older you grow in any of the core engineering fields, okay, the more value you can bring to the table, the more experienced you have, okay. Because the basic engineering principles, like the principles of equilibrium, which we talked earlier, right, it's not going to change. Okay.
Yes.
And based on your experience, you can contribute a lot of things. And the older you grow, you will be valued more. Unlike the other fields, if I'm not wrong, the older you grow, unless you keep updating yourself or keep be in the race, you run a little bit of risk, right? Like when you reach in your late 30s or early 40s or mid 40s even, you will have to be constantly updated because the technology which is at par at that point of time may not be what you would have learned or what you have worked all the while, right? So I as a person don't believe that there is a employment gap between the any of the engineering fields. Only thing is that sometimes there is a boom in IT field. There could be a boom. That's when people think and realize that there is no opportunity in civil engineering field. But it is not so. What I would also, at this point, though it is not, you have not asked this question, I would also tell as a suggestion to people who are here, saying that if you are a civil engineer, okay, you have not got placed through campus, there have not been any enough civil engineering companies. Don't do that. Do some parallel online courses. Join some small developers. Okay, join some small developers. If you are into going to a corporate, okay, learn the ropes of the trade. Do actually learn how to supervise a project. How much cement does it takes to build a slab? Okay, learn the ropes. That is the best place. The small place is the best place to learn the things. Don't lose heart. Get yourself acquainted, then you grow yourself. You just give a chance to yourself, your growth will be unlimited. Now I think I have answered the first part of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now coming to the second part, that is you were comparing like whether someone should opt for a government or a PSU kind of thing to a corporate kind of thing like Tatas or L&Ts or Afcons or HCCs,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
So basic, see, I will tell you, wherever you are, grab the first opportunity what you got. If you are into going to a career mode, grab the first opportunity what you have got and be there. Give your 100% best wherever you are, and you will be shining like anything. Okay. So there is, I don't find any, there is no correct tailor-made answers or things like that. So one difference I can tell you is that in government sectors, there will be a lot of laid out rules. Okay, like you cannot, bring in new techniques or bring in new products or something on your own. Decision making could be a little bit delayed. Delayed could be delayed. Okay, but if you are outstanding and if you could prove yourself that this will work, some system will maybe eliminate using natural resources to least. It will take a little bit time for the government sector to decide. You cannot contribute much in that areas, innovations areas. But coming to corporates, the decision making or the implementation could be easy. And coming to the perks or salaries, I think after a middle management level, the both are at par.
Okay.
There have been movement from corporates to gone PSUs and PSUs back to corporates. Both are there. So if you are in middle management towards your middle management or your top management, the salaries structures and the perks would be at par.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for this elaboration upon this question. So our next question is about like L&T, Larsen&Toubro Construction is one of the dream company of all the civil engineers. Actually. So actually in civil engineering field, if you are you are having very good CGPA, that doesn't require because experience and skill is most important fact which will make you end up in any good job. So you got selected to campus in L&T. So it is very obvious that you were very good at academics as well as if we talk about practical experiences. So how you have utilized your 4 years in terms of practical exposure? What are the things? What are the projects which you have done till
See,
the
I
till the
would suggest that. See, this is My generation, if you compare, right, we were not avid phone users. We never knew what is a smartphone. Okay, and my kind of life, no, when I was doing my first year and all, we have not even heard you leave it. We have not even seen a mobile phone. Okay, that kind of life is what I was having. So, what actually helped me was the internships I had. So, I had two internships. One was with a piling contractor who was doing a multi-story building in my place, near my place, and another was with a design consultant. Okay, so I would actually suggest the students like who are joining, or the young engineers, to get as much as internships as possible when you are on holidays, like study leaves and all you get, right? So you try to utilize it for internships, right? Even if they don't pay you also, no
Yes,
worry, don't worry about it. It is all the CV that matters, and what you learn actually matters, right? It exposes you to many things. See, when we study things like a beam and a slab and a column junction, right, it is not it will be we will be having something in mind. When you actually go to site, right, it is totally different than what you would have imagined, right? So all this practical experience always matters. So right from your second year of engineering, I'd suggest even from your say fourth semester onwards, I'd suggest that you take up as many as internships as possible. Don't look at the companies who are giving you internships. Don't look at their brands. Don't go for the brand values. Be there, learn as much as possible, and do some parallel courses. Like at that point of time, it was rare. I never used to do a CAD or a CAD course at that point of time, but I think it is in vogue. You can always equip yourself with some BIM training, building information modeling training, or geospatial things like that, or even other skills, even unrelated skills. Okay, also you can do it. It will look good on your resume, and it will give a extra onus points to you.
yes, ma'am. Another question is result of my curiosity, as well as many persons are also thinking about that. Recently, L&T has built a 3D constructor, built a house which was 3D printed constructed. So, what was the all about? Like how they have made it? It was just a curious question which is there. So, what were the technologies which were involved in that? And apart from that, a question relating with this, that is how much coding and all stuffs which are related to computer science, that are essential for civil engineering students if they want to go, like right now as we have seen that 3D printing has come into picture, so like that. We just want to know
So
about
here, before I answer your question, Kuldeep, I got a point here basically. So now that you have mentioned how much of coding knowledge goes into bringing that, right? So try to develop. I would also advise that try to develop some of the interrelated skills, like coding. It needn't be coding. Also, okay, something related to analytics, or even things like that. One can equip oneself. It'll help you at some other point. It'll pay you at some other point of time. So I'll tell about this. So we have a dedicated team of developers and analytics people with us, not only with L&T Infotech, but within our campus itself, who are engaged to understand the basic needs of civil engineers. And I guess work not less than 6 months have gone into it. Even from very senior level, like VP levels, we have people who are in who head the computer division, like we call them information systems. Okay, ISD teams. And the 3D printed model was to actually establish that the technology, yes, is possible, that we can go ahead gladly for a G+1 or kind of G+2
yes,
building without any hassle.
yes,
Right
ma'am.
from this one. See, this is actually, this question also related to your previous question, whether selection between government and corporates, right?
Private
So
sector. Yes, ma'am.
something like as bizarre as this, if an engineer has that as a concept in his mind or her mind, wouldn't have been transpired so soon if that engineer was in a PSU or a government sector, right? Like in L&T. L&T it became a reality in actually over 6-7 months. Okay, so the coding plan itself was not less than 6 months. There is a big established computer system support team in our campus, in our L&T stream. Not less than 200 people are engaged in there. They understand each and every of the civil engineering, or mechanical or electrical engineering needs. They cater to us, and they actually help us to digitalize our functions basically. And
Yes.
actually, the plotting actually took very less time, maybe a month or 2 months time.
Okay, ma'am. So, one more question, which is about the practical exposure. Like when we are solving the questions, that is one of the most horrific subject, that is structural analysis, which we study around 2 semesters, structural analysis 1 and 2. So at that time, when we are finding reactions, bending moments, and forces, axial forces in beams and columns, so you also have read all these things. So when you have joined L&T, so that particular time, how it was different, and where you like what have something like how I have to initiate about that, and about a bit confused about that, because we have already all the time we have just done it on the copy and paper, solving questions and all. So when it comes to practical implementation, so how you have did that?
So I'll tell you when I joined, okay? We
Yes.
never had a computer, okay? And we were like 5 people together in the team we joined, all as same day we have joined. We were asked to write the code. IS 256 2000, 2000 was released. At that point, it was in vogue, 2002.
Okay, ma'am.
We were asked to write with pen and paper in a book. We are asked to write each of the clauses of the IS 456, and each of our team lead used to give us a sum, okay, which has to be solved by hand. Truss, it could be a truss or a beam, and this one, a simple supported beam or a slab system.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
had to design, end of the day, we have to design that, citing the clause of the IS code. And even if one calculation went wrong, you will be asked to do it again, redo it with an imposition to write the clause of the IS code. Okay. So this
Okay.
is the backing and training we had. So that makes us actually strong in wherever we go. So any of our design engineers, if you take, right, they can actually field design at the field without even software. They are trained to do that. Okay. And that was the time when I joined. Now there are e-tabs, and there are things like stats and stat pros and even BIM software. We have a 3D studio inside our campus itself called BIM Studio. We call it Srishti, wherein you can actually do all the modeling like mechanical, plumbing, electrical lines, as well as the reinforcement details and the architectural details can be plotted and see where is the conflict coming, and quantities can be taken from that. And people who actually pass out can directly go for the design in the software itself. But the basics in the training of the GET period or the PGT period, it remains the same. You have to have that some solving skill. It will be, you will be given the training for first few months, 2-3 months, because that only helps you when you don't have any access to Wi-Fi or computer or anything, which actually is like 50% of the sites. It is the truth.
Yes, ma'am. So one more question related to previous question only. That is it required for a civil engineer to remember all the IS codes and all at the site, like when we are executing that
Not
projects?
at all required. All you require is good willpower. I'll tell you, willpower, logics, practical thinking. Okay, that is all you require, and good, dhairyam, bravery. That is all is
Yes.
required for any, not only in any site. I'm telling, any survival, you require the basic bravery to face of anything. It will come on its own to you. Now that we have all the resources at hand, right? Like you are just a browser away from your some, right? So you can always do that. You have a team will be supporting you. You will not be left alone. In L&T culture, it is like that. You will never be left alone to face the bad world. Okay, there will be your mentor. People will mentor you. People will actually train you. There will be people who you can always go back and ask. You can always go back and seek help. So you'll never be let alone, and you need and remember any IS codes per se, but you should you should actually be in touch with that. It is just like writing a open book exam, right? You can write an open book exam, but you should know where the content is coming, right? So just be aware that see, for bending moments and shear force, or for the crack the design, you have to refer to 456, and for the ductile details, you have to refer 1845. That basic knowledge things have to be there. That's it. But you need to remember everything.
Okay, ma'am. So another question is about, like, there are around 30 to 20 subjects, which if we count that. So there are subjects like structural analysis, geotechnical engineering, highway engineering. So according to you, from if we talk about the recent trends, so which one is more important subject for a civil engineer that he must learn, and he must have a grab on that particular subject?
See, there is not even one subject which my time when I had learned engineering, there is not even one subject I have not put into use in all my 15 years. Right from, bill of quantities estimation, right from fluid mechanics, right from structural analysis, right from traffic engineering, or geotechnical engineering have all been in use. Okay, geotechnical engineering will be the core if you are going to be long like infrastructure project, like wherein you build a metro or a tunnel, or even any building per se. That is one of the very important things which you will have to, have the basics, right? Structural engineering also is one of the subjects which you should have the a little bit, brushing up always done. You should be, be basic ready. Not that you have to be 100% sentence scorer or something like that, but you should be a basic ready. Why, I'll tell you the difference between an architect and an engineer, right? The architect actually conceptualizes all the fancy designs, what we see and all. But it is the engineer who actually materializes it. So for you to materialize any concept that it can be built, see, there is no SOU without an engineer, right? The Statue of Unity. The architect has the conceptualized it that it will be so many feet tall, and it will have an elevator right through the chest. There will be a viewing gallery, all these things, right? But for the engineer to actually conceptualize it, he has to have that basic understanding, basic logic ready, that for this much of weight, this much of foundation is required, and for this much of width, this much of height only can be required, otherwise it has to be extra supported. So I think you could actually give a focus to your always structural analysis, and geotechnical should be a little bit logically, you should be equipped.
Okay, ma'am. So my second last question is about, like, was there any project in which, like, where you were involved in that, and you have faced, you have
Actually, there is a
sort
little
of
bit
like,
disturbance. I don't know from where. I couldn't hear after your project. Yeah.
yeah, yes, ma'am. I am saying that, like, you were involved in any project, and you have thought of that, this is very difficult project. Why I am here, and what that project was all about. Like, any related to any metro construction, or any building construction which was there. So any very sophisticated project, which you would have thought that I should have avoided that. I should have not been there.
Many times, not only once, twice. Many times I would have thought I could have avoided this task. Why this task God is giving me one after the other like that? Many times it happens. It will happen to everyone. Okay. There will be times when you think that God is only targeting you, or whoever is only targeting you. You are given all the tough jobs, things like that. But trust me, after all these years, I've seen that any job and every job are either equally easy or equally tough. There is nothing like unequal distribution or thing like that. But if there is something which you actually was not equipped with, you should always seek help from your people around you. It could be your seniors, it could be from a different department, it could be from your friends, even from people outside your organization. So many times it will happen. Even today I was feeling, why am I given this task? But at the end of the day, once you finish that task, right, the joy you get out of it is unmeasurable.
Okay, ma'am. So my last question, that is about any specific advice which you want to give to the young generation of civil engineers.
So I will tell you that I also have gone through the phase when every one near you, the software or the electrical engineer, was placed with Cisco's and IBM's and Google's, and I was actually struggling when my company comes and things like that. Never lose heart. I'll tell you, with all these years as a civil engineer, it is I who am having the last laugh in front of my peers who had done engineering with me and opted for software, because I have a stable job, I have a stable job, and I contribute to nation building, right? So, one more thing, what I could actually suggest is that do as many practical internships as possible. Keep yourself updated. All the very best.
Thank you so much for giving your time to me, and I think that it has worked as a fuel for all the participants which are there. And my last
Except the,
question.
I think I have a problem, is it?
Maybe, ma'am. Is it visible? Am I audible properly? No?
Yeah, you are, but there is some kind of a disturbance.
Okay, okay, ma'am. If you have any query to the participants, so you can put your
What
query.
I do, I lose my headphones. I don't know. Am I audible now? Audible now? I can't hear you actually. Yeah. Now am I audible? Okay, okay. Yeah. I'll take out this. Maybe it is not working. Sometimes this is what happens in. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. See, sometimes this is what most of the times happen. We
Yes,
plan
ma'am.
something that we will pour so much of concrete today, and there'll be a strike, and you can't this one you can't
Yes,
do
ma'am.
anything. So then you will have to plan proactively for plan B also, and do another part of the job. So this
Sure,
is
ma'am.
what happens at sites also. So I am back to no speaker. Yes, tell me.
So I guess, ma'am, it's a wrap up, and we really had a good time with you. And I hope students might have learned new avenues about the civil engineering, and they'll be like more than willing to exploit them very well. Thanks a lot, ma'am. We are really pleased to
Thank
have you
you.
here.
Actually, the pleasure is mine also to interact with all the young people, which actually energizes me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kuldeep and Himanshu.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.